All right, let's move on to our next discussion now. The 2014 National Conference, tagged 2014 Confab, set up by former President Goodluck Jonathan, made some recommendations on how Nigeria can be restructured to achieve greater success as a nation.
With agitations from different parts of the country for self-rule, the most recent stemming from the Kaduna State, where the Arewa Youth Forum issued an ultimatum for the Igbos to vacate the north or on before October 1st. Perhaps it's time for the Buhari administration to take a look into the recommendations of the 2014 Confab it earlier jettisoned.
Now let's refresh your minds with some of the 620 recommendations of the Confab on restructuring. Now, resource control and fiscal federalism, the adoption of a part-time legislature, those were part of it, the removal of immunity clause for criminal matters, a special court to handle corruption cases that has been in the works for quite some time now, independent candidacy, the diaspora participation in voting, unbundling of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, creation of 18 new states. These are some of the issues on recommendation there.
Also on that list, you have the reintroduction of the national anthem, privatization of existing refineries, which is also ongoing right now, stoppage of sponsorship of pilgrims, phasing out of cattle routes and grazing reserves to be replaced with ranching, new revenue allocation formula following the FG take 42.5%, state will take 35%, and LG's 22.5% as opposed to the prevailing 52.68% going to the federal government, 26.72% to the states, and 20.60% to the local government respectively.
Now, those in favor of restructuring usually cite what prevailed in the First Republic when the three regions, the East, West, and North, and later Midwest, developed at their own pace and unleashed development in their various areas. Now, according to them, with 50% derivation and more responsibilities to shoulder, there was inter-regional competition as regions strive to outwit one another in terms of socio-economic development. But why most Nigerians are calling for restructuring? Others are seeking outright secession. Okay. That's the big question, the big debate right now amongst Nigerians and amongst the regions. Now, joining us to discuss this from Abuja studio is Comrade Isaac Balami. He's the Executive Secretary, Arewa Consultative Forum, Youth Congress. Isaac, it's good to have you join us right now.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're the president, not the secretary. All right, let me take it this way, Isaac. A lot of, from this recent development now, a lot of elders are saying that the Nigerian youth don't seem to really understand the peculiarities, the beauty of our diversity, where every time we have little provocation, we talk about everybody go back to your fatherland, everybody go back to your native land, and so on. What is your take on this?
Well, you are very, very right. It's rather unfortunate that the youth that are actually supposed to come together and see how this nation can move together have made themselves available to be used by politicians that don't have the interests of this nation at heart, rather than just their own personal or their own selfish interests. I will tell it, as we all know, the people that led the struggle or, canvass for the independence of this great nation were in their 20s and in their early 30s. And today you find people about over 5 years, over five decades later, you're now seeing the same age bracket as saying that we should all go back to our villages or go back to where we actually came from. Okay, I would say it's actually misinformation. We are not, basically, this is what some of the elders have put in the new generation. And that is not fair, that is not good. We need to see how we can come back as one Nigeria to build this great nation that God has given unto us.
Okay, so you're saying, in other words, the declaration that happened in Kaduna was just somebody flying a kite? Is that what you're saying?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there are issues. You see, we cannot run away from the issues. Yes, IPOP came up with their agitation And some other people from the north felt provoked, and they felt, okay, you say you want to go, go. No problem. But you see, the approach is wrong. I believe I have condemned categorically what IPOB is doing. I have also condemned categorically what the Arewa youth are also doing. Of recent, the Niger Delta youth and also the Oduduwa youth have also come up with the same idea. The truth is that I will say all those people speaking are less than 1% of the majority of us that believe that this country has come of age and it is too late to talk about division. We can talk about restructuring, we can talk about our differences, we can talk about the injustice, we can talk about the need for fairness, we can talk about the need for equity, we can talk about the need for inclusion. But to talk about dividing this country, I don't think is the best way. This is my personal view. I think this is high time for us. I mean, this is one nation. If we have about 400 minerals that God has deposited on this earth that human beings have been able to discover, at least 200 is deposited in Nigeria. Now, we have no reason to be poor. Today, we have about 11 million children in the 19 northern states. They are out of school. This is an issue. Today, we have people that are educated. There's no job. This is an issue. We should be discussing that. Today, we have minerals. Look at Ife. Look at Zamfara. Look at the gold. Look at the oil and gas. We are so blessed. Instead of for us to come together to see how we can make this nation move forward, instead of for us to come together and see how we can look at the strength in our diversity, the fact that the Igbo man is quite enterprising, he is good in business, the fact that the Yoruba man is good in finance administration, the fact that the Hausa man have always shown interest and demonstrated capacity in terms of leadership and carrying everybody along, we are not discussing division. This is rather unfortunate. And I will tell you that a lot of Nigerians out there, even in Arewa, even in the east, even in south-south or southwest, are saying that no, this is not true. We should come together. Yes, there are issues, but we better discuss them and see how we can move forward as a nation. Because the moment we allow ourselves to be divided, then we are no more the giant of Africa. We are no more the most populous nation on earth. The most populous black nation on earth. Okay. And that is why we must not allow the few to divide this country. We must come together as majority to fight and remain together as one.
All right, Isaac, let me put you on hold. You're making points there. We'll come back to you to hear more from other perspective as far as this discussion is concerned. Let's bring you the news update for this time. Nigeria will benefit from a $500 million concessionary loan funding from the Green Climate Fund.
The Green Climate Fund, courtesy of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, is aimed at promoting low emissions and climate-resilient development pathways in developing countries. The Director, Department of Climate Change, Federal Ministry of Environment, Peter Taffer, made this known in a two-day conference in collaboration with the UN development programs. Nigeria's priority areas of project proposal funding include the renewable energy and energy efficiency and, of course, coastal resilience.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation latest financial report shows the company recorded over 60.19% growth in its operations in March 2017.
The report published on Friday revealed that trading deficit, which has characterized the corporation's operations at some time as a result of massive disruption of its activities, recorded a huge drop from 14.12 billion naira in February to just about 5.62 billion naira. The improvement was attributed to an increase in crude oil export revenue. The corporation remitted a total of 1.413 trillion naira between March 2016 and March 2017 to the federal government.
And the United States has condemned Russia's crackdown on anti-corruption protesters, calling on Moscow to release peaceful demonstrators detained around the country.
White House spokesman Sean Spicer says detaining peaceful protesters is an affront to core democratic values. Okay, those are the updates for this time. Let's get back to our discussion. On the 6th of June, some youths in the north came out with a quit notice, if you have to put it that way, giving an ultimatum to the Igbo people to leave the northern part of Nigeria based on some of the suspicion they had and dissatisfactions they had. But we've been talking about there's a lot of Nigerian elders and youths alike
have come to condemn that statement, saying that no, we have gone beyond all of those rhetorics of calling on others to leave. Now we have joining us, we've been talking with Isaac Balami. He is the president of Arewa Consultative Youth Congress, and he is joining us from our Abuja studio. Isaac, let's get on with our discussion. Now, some of this agitation that comes from here and there are usually a product of some kind of suspicion. Let's get back into the rhetorics of the North, rhetorics of the East, rhetorics of Biafra and all of that. What really leads to this inter-ethnic suspicion that we still have up until now?
Well, you see, as far as I'm actually concerned, first of all, when the leader of IPOB came into Nigeria from, I think, Europe or UK, he met a lot of youths in the East that are unemployed. And even the Bible says an idle man is the devil's workshop. So it's easier for him to actually get followers because they have nothing to lose. These are people that have gone to school, or some didn't even have the privilege of the chance of even going to school. There's no job. They can't see any future. There's no future. There's no direction. They see a lot of they see their leaders looting their wealth. They are not even investing this money in their own state. It is obvious that people like Nnamdi Kanu can have followership. Look at Boko Haram. Today, I kept telling people, I am from Maiduguri, Borno State. Today, we are saying that over 10 to 11 million children are not in school in the 19 northern states. This is a time bomb waiting to happen. This is more than Biafra. This is more than Boko Haram. This is more than any challenge you can ever think of. In the next few years, if nothing is being done, these people, you can't even drive by road from Asokoro to Garki because you'll be robbed. Because these people are idle. There's no job. And we are yet to see a proper structure, a framework in place that will take care of that. And these are major challenges that we must face and talk about. I will say you this. When this, you see, most times whenever you see people coming to talk about agitation or this or that, yes, there's always a reason. When you don't engage the youth, when you don't ensure that the youth are actually productive, then somebody will use them. Then somebody will ensure that they are used. It is high time for the government to begin to engage the youth. There must be inclusion. I kept saying it that some of what is happening today in this country, even the recession, is self-inflicted. Because we have what it takes. We have the population. They said, somebody was speaking last week, he said, if 40% of the clothes we wear can be made in Nigeria, that alone can go a long way in taking care of lack of employment. That alone. So we need to look inward. We need to see how we can love ourselves. There's no love. We just pretend. This is not even about Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, or any other minority tribes.
Okay, Isaac, we've heard your explanation.
Whether in the East or in the North.
Isaac, we've heard your explanation about the IPOB, but the declaration in Kaduna, where the youths, are the youth also marginalized, dissatisfied? Is that the issue?
Oh, I will tell you that youths all over Nigeria, not just in Arewa, are marginalized. You will agree with me that during election, they call us to come out. I'm sure that this president that God has given unto us got about 15 million votes. I am 100% sure that at least between 60 to 80% of these votes are youth, whether male or female. But today, can you count the number of youth that are in this government? How many youth have been empowered? How many jobs has been created? The point is that these youth are idle. Look at me. If I have a job to do in the morning, maybe I'm going for morning shift or afternoon shift or evening shift, or maybe I'm on leave with my family, and I know I have a monthly income. Who will come and tell me to go and do such a thing?
All right,
Who
but
will tell me to go and join IPOB?
Isaac, let me quickly interrupt you, Isaac, so that we chip in this point before we move on to what we are doing next. In the Igbos that the youth are asking to leave the North, they are employers of labor. They have businesses, and now you're asking them to move away, and they're complaining of not having enough to do. Is that not an irony?
Well, you see, you are very, very right. You see, the issue is that you are talking about, let's talk about the issues. The issue here is that I am not in support of what IPOB did, neither am I in support of what my brothers in Arewa did. But the question is, I have asked questions. I've met with some of those Arewa youth leaders. While some are against, some are actually for. And the reasons they gave is simple. You said this one country that God has given unto us, you want to live. Then live. And I am saying, no, you don't have to say that. There are mediums, there are approach to this. There are better ways we can use to actually achieve this. And the bottom line is, even people like Dangote, Dan Tata, we have a lot of northerners that have businesses outside the north. So no matter how you see it, we need each other. Whether you ask the northerners in the south or in the east to come back to the north, we are still going to have the same challenge. For me, this is not even an issue. We should be talking about our differences. We should be agreeing, okay, yes, there are challenges. Okay, the Igbo said that they have been marginalized. There's nothing wrong in the government giving them listening ear. The Arewa youth also feel that, come, don't be threatening us with, you want to live, you want to live. If you know that you want to live, live. And you see, we don't need all that. I think this is high time for the elders of this great nation to come and demonstrate leadership.
All right,
to
Isaac.
come and prove that they are truly fathers.
All right, Isaac, let me put you on hold and bring in Fola Dele to give us a reaction on social media now. Fola, it's good to have you back on again.
Good to see you again,
And
Mike
your
and
walls
Busalami.
to be bubbling, right? Please,
Yes,
I can't wait to see it.
Honestly, Busalami. And of course, Isaac is really passionate, and this is something to be passionate about. Let's see how Nigerians are reacting online. Ade Lawrence says, Christian, Muslim, white, black, Nigerian, South Africans, Igbo, Yoruba, Biafra, Arewa, Anambra, and Mbise, what is wrong? Where is the love? Baba Shola Kuti says, have the police found the Arewa hate preachers? After all, the same police arrested the guy who named his dog Buhari and even prosecuted him. Jay Kure says, I would like to point out that a small fraction of so-called northern youth do not represent the rest. Don't lump us all into one casket. Kechuku says, if only Arewa youth groups and Ango gave Shekau and Boko Haram members quick notice years ago, lives, properties would have been saved. Ajala says, Igbos, in bracket hip-hop, says, give us Biafra. Arewa youth says, all Igbos should vacate north. Niger Delta youth say, give us our oil blocks. Yoruba, let's party. God is all says, I think it will be safe for the southeast states to start working out a plan to relocate their people out of the north. Safety first. Isaac, what do you think about this last tweet? God is all says, I think it will be safe for the southeast states to start working out a plan to relocate their people out of the north because safety first. What do you think about that?
Well, you see, with due respect to my brothers and sisters from the southeast, I am now speaking to the majority, over 90% or even 98% that believes that this country should be one. When you want to move the whole South, today in 19 northern states alone, based on what I read in the newspaper some days ago, we have over 20 million Igbos in the north. Come, where will they go to? Where is the house? Where will they live? Today, Niger State alone in the north is bigger than the whole southeastern state put together. We need each other. Yes, the North might be poor right now based on per capita income, but we need each other. As I am talking to you now, for me, it's not an issue of moving. Okay, I have an uncle who is married to an Igbo lady. 7 of my aunties from Borno State are living in Enugu and Onitsha right now, married to Igbo men. They have 6, 7 children. How do you separate them? I think it is too late. I think it is high time for us to see how we can have a process of national healing, true forgiveness, and see how we can move forward. This is the giant of Africa. This is one of the most populous black nations on earth. We cannot. I am from Borno State. The Igwe Emmanuel from Enugu, Ibawanikwe, made me a chief. I'm a chief in Enugu. This was done since last year.
So
if Igbo people don't believe in this country, why should they make Isaac Balami from Borno State a chief?
Okay, Isaac, Isaac. Okay, so just hold your thoughts.
I think this person is onto something about safety, and he's saying it might be wise to leave because things get messy. So I think that's what he's driving at, but it might be worth discussing.
Yeah, the concept of leaving is what Isaac is
Yes.
saying. No, that's not the
It's
right
not gonna make
approach.
sense, yes,
because
yes.
you're going to send panic amongst the people, and there are impacts to all of this. Thank you for that.
Thank you
all
so
that.
much. Thank you.
Yeah. Now let's Isaac. Let's come back to the realities on ground. From the statements or the ultimatum given that day, if you watch that video, it talked about the fact that there's an ongoing or machinery has been put in place to take inventory and take stock of all the businesses, all the homes, all the shops, all the assets owned by the eastern people in the north. And from the 1st of October, something coordinated attacks or coordinated strategies will be put in place to evict them. When it comes to safety, when it comes to avoiding chaos, what do you project with a statement like that from things that have happened before in the north?
You see, for me, I believe we all know what is happening. We know what the Arewa youth said. We all know what IPOP has been doing. We all know what has been happening across the country. The point is this. The youths have been used in the southeast and in the north. It is high time for our fathers that claim they love this country. It is high time for the elder statesmen across the 6th geopolitical zone to come together, not tomorrow. They should come together yesterday, because it is even getting too late before something begins to happen. Let us begin to talk about solutions. Let us begin to talk about forgiveness. Let us begin to talk about unity. That is the only way forward. I don't want to be talking about inventory or no inventory. There are challenges. The Igbos have made their point clear. They feel they are being marginalized. The Arewa youth feel that the Igbos are shouting, they are making noise. Come, don't be intimidating us, don't be threatening us. If you want to express your grievance, there are channels. We have the National Assembly, you have ministers in the Federal Executive Council, you have senators, you have House of Reps, you have elders that can actually speak on your behalf. Don't just start causing confusion in the land.
Okay.
This is what I have heard from both sides. All I'm saying is, I am not saying that the Igbos are wrong, neither am I saying, all I'm saying is that we need to come together to discuss our differences. And it is high time for our elders to wake up and stop sitting on the fence. Because this nation, we cannot afford any other civil war. It only costs just one malam now or one boy from the north to attack one person, and before you know it, war has started. We don't need that. People should speak out. People should not sit on the fence, please.
Okay.
We are wrapping up now, but maybe the last question to you or not, but somebody raised the question of the arrest of those who made that declaration. It may make you a bit uneasy, but we'll still like you to answer it anyway. Should the spokesman who made that declaration and those who signed that declaration, should they be arrested? And if yes, why hasn't the Nigerian police arrested them?
You see, I have also asked that question, and I was asking some elders in the north and some people even from the southwest. And they said, well, the problem is this. If you arrest these people now, they said Nnamdi Kanu was given a bail. There was a condition for his bail. He has broken all the conditions. You see, I don't want us to be going back and forth. If you want to go into all that, I'm not saying it is wrong. It is not my duty to arrest them. I don't know what the IG police is doing. I don't know whether maybe they are looking for them to even get them arrested. But the point is that there are offenses from both sides. Nobody is happy. The other people are saying that, okay, Nnamdi Kanu is doing what he feels like doing. Even after getting bail, he is going against the law. He has broken all the bail conditions. This is what I heard. And now people are also saying that, okay, the Arewa youth are yet to be arrested. We should stop complaining. What is the problem? Let's go to the root of this problem. How do we move forward? How do we move this great nation forward? That is what we should be saying. Okay. People are jobless. There's a growing population.
Yes.
How do we cater for them?
Isaac, we've heard that point. Let's move on now. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is just about 39 years old, and if we have to copy and paste, copy from France and paste in Nigeria, anyone who is 39 years is still very much of a youth comparative to what we've had, where 60 years old persons are youth leaders in some of the political parties here and there. Now, the youths themselves, you have even mentioned the elders here often. Are the youths themselves pulling their weight enough when it comes to championing that visionary tomorrow that we look forward to? Have the youth in Nigeria really pulled their weight in that regard enough?
Well, you see, you can't give what you don't have. It's rather unfortunate. The 1999 Constitution, even as amended, made it clear. Today, even to be the president of Nigeria, you must be up to 40 and above. And NYSC, I mean, it is obvious that a youth is somebody between the age of 18 to 35. Obviously, from our constitution, the elders have ensured that youth doesn't have participation. They don't have, I mean, they are not included in the whole structure. Look at it today. Even at the political parties, the youth leaders are not even youth. Even as we speak right now, the Minister of Youth is not a youth.
Okay.
In the immediate past administration, the Minister of Youth was not a youth. Even as we speak, but you see, it is the fault of the youth. We have about 65 to 75% of the voting population. President Buhari came in with only 50 million votes, and it cost nothing for Nigerian youth to deliver 30 or 40 million votes. But because of hatred, because of the seed that our parents have sowed into us, it is difficult for us to even come together. We fight each other. When you go to youth council, you have the Ikenga faction, you have the Abdul Majid faction, you have the Henry faction, you have over 7 factions. When you go to the Nigerian student, you have factions. Who is causing all those factions? The elders. Because they know that if the Youth Council of Nigeria is together, because they know that if the Nigerian students are together, this country will not be the way it is today. And they have blocked us. They have stopped. They have stopped us of fund. Look at all the major youth platforms today. There's no budget. There's no funding. Whether from CBN, whether from any government arm, whether from CBDN. We have so many startup hubs. The BD hubs, the Idea hub, the Co-Creation hub, which is the CC hub. You have the TY Danjuma hub. You have so many hubs. How many of those hubs has been able to empower anybody? All structures that youths have been able to set up to help people, there's no single support. Even the international donors, when they send in support, it still gets to the hands of the old people. And it never gets down. It never trickles down. They deliberately make sure that we don't get anything in this country. And it is deliberate. The question is, they are getting old. They are at the departure lounge. What do they want to achieve? Yes, you say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but there's no transition, there's no empowerment, there's no mentorship. I can't remember when last a former president or a serving president or a former governor called you together to mentor them, to guide them. Our history is even missing. We don't even know history. The little I know about Nigeria right now is what I read, or based on the question I actually asked. There's a conspiracy to destroy this country. And I want the Nigerian youth to wake up and take their future into their own hands. If the people that got our independence were in their 20s and in their 30s, and we have over 70 million Nigerians that are within the age of 18 and about 40, we need to wake up and ensure that the old people does not destroy our future. We have children. I have 2 children. I will have more children by the grace of God.
Okay.
I have adopted so many children.
Okay,
and
Iche Isaac, that's a good one. About is it not time for a paradigm shift? Don't wait for the ops, the SMID and the SMAs. What can the youth do for themselves? And that brings us to the question of the Confab report of 2014. Is it high time to take another look at some of those recommendations in that Confab report? One of them has to do with to change the revenue formula compared to what we have today.
Resource control and other things.
Yeah, you see, the Confab, I mean, that was something that I think the government spent billions of naira to put that Confab together. And I will tell you that it is high time for us to actually take a look at it. Nigerians have been talking about restructuring. Even the former vice president from the north, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, also agreed with the fact that there's a need for us to restructure. There are so many reasons why we actually restructure, and it is important. But I have said it over and over. What we need, number one, is first of all a mental restructuring. A mental restructuring. If you don't change in the inside, if Isaac Balami, my family, my neighbors, my cousins, my state, my region does not have a mental restructuring, we will still go back to yesterday. The point is that, okay, there was a need to look at how Niger Delta will be taken care of. And at some point, billions of naira was being given for the amnesty program for NDDC. Yes, why a lot has actually been achieved. I know about some engineers, some pilots in my own industry that has been empowered. You will agree with me that based on the amount that has been put into Niger Delta, there is less than 20 or 30% performance. The reason is because
Isaac,
we have these selfish people that believe in themselves alone.
All right, Isaac, we have heard your point, and certainly you are pro this nation being together, and we really get your point. Thank you very much. That's how much time can permit us to talk on this for today. Isaac Balami, President of Arewa Consultative Youth Congress, thank you for talking to us. And you are Ichi. Thank you very much. Bye for now, Isaac.